Hello, everyone. My name is Perla, also known as Pretty Young Brew on Twitter. And my current favorite Prince album right now is, if not Diamonds and Pearls, then Love Sexy, because I'm always on the Love Sexy feel. I always want to listen to the album.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher. I go by Christopher Tracy on X, and my handle is at Christopher Tracy. And my favorite Prince album right now, it changes all the time. I'm really into this Diamonds and Pearls Super Deluxe Edition. I agree with you, Perla. It's amazing. There's so much to listen to. And if not that, I'm kind of really into Emancipation right now. As predictable as that sounds, I would have to go with Emancipation and this Diamonds and Pearl Super Deluxe for the moment. It might change tomorrow.
And yeah, just going on to our first question. Um, so Prince created this album, Emancipation, purely based on the idea of liberation, freedom, and sex. And considering his contract with Warner Bros., how do you, Chris, think that this album was executed? Do you think that the 3-disc release was significant in telling his listeners how he felt?
So I definitely feel that Prince executed his vision and what he wanted to do with this album. I know that for years, since the mid to late 80s, he wanted to do a 3-record project, and the record label held him back. That's not how they do things. He had this vision and he wanted to create this big body of work. And even the word emancipation, naming the album that and having the title track, speaks to being freed of something. This is coming out of a time when he used terms and imagery around slavery as a reflection or symbolic meaning to his relationship with Warner. So I feel that doing an album named Emancipation, giving it 3 discs as he always wanted to, and changing the style and the topics of the music, I feel as if he really lived up to his, the project lived up to his vision and lived up to the expectations around what he was creating. It was a very fresh sound, it was something very different. And I feel as if coming off of the previous record, Chaos and Disorder, he brought a new vibe that he wanted to have solely as his, specifically for this project. So I do feel he was very successful with it.
I couldn't have answered that better.
So Prince said several times that you will hear the liberation and freedom in the music on Emancipation. In which track from the whole set do you hear that liberation the most?
Yeah, so this is probably like a no-brainer, but I definitely hear it the most from the song Emancipation. I think the lyrics specifically, Emancipation, free to do what I want to do, Emancipation, see you in the purple rain, Emancipation, free to do what I want to do, Emancipation, break the chain, break the chain. I mean, I feel like that is enough to tell you what the album is gonna be about. And it's also like telling you about like how he felt like being seen as an artist with no capability of like having the rights to own his own music. So yeah, I know a pretty simple answer, but I think it really does tie the whole album together.
Love it. I agree with that too. It's so good.
So this is around the time where we see Prince with the word slave written on his face. How does this tie the entire era together for you? And seeing how he was one of the first artists, if not the first artist to do something like this, how effective do you think this was for him personally?
Okay, so I feel that this all ties together very well. He started using that slave on his face a couple of years before Emancipation came out. And we all know that his recording process was never linear. And so he recorded things years later. But I don't know that he knew that he would want to release an album named Emancipation and time it right with him taking the slave off of his face. Because months before he released Chaos and Disorder, and he wore slave on his face. Using the word emancipation, it's typically used around prison. And like prison and jail, they use it for that specifically, and for legal matters. And with this relationship with Warner being such a legal situation, I feel that slave and him writing on his face was huge protest, extremely effective, and that we are seeing the results today in the music industry with the artists and artists' rights from what Prince started with writing slave on his face. If it wasn't that blatant, if he didn't use such a strong word, I don't know that we would have the light shown in that space today for artists without the impact of what he did. So I believe it was very effective. And I feel that him being released and feeling emancipated and changing his music up, it all ties together with the slave storyline that he was working with. And I feel that he did it pretty masterfully.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like if Prince were here to listen to you, he'd feel so appreciated.
Like I just like it literally like he changed it for he didn't even get to physically see the results. And I
Yeah.
don't think he cares about that. It
Mhm.
was bigger than him. So amazing.
Yeah. So ahead
Oh,
of us.
you almost made me emotional with that one. I like love that question. That was so good. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
Carla, what are your top 5 favorite songs from Emancipation?
Okay. Without getting into too much detail, I absolutely love The Love We Make, In This Bed I Scream, Jam of the Year, I Can't Make You Love Me, and Soul Sanctuary. Those songs just speak to me.
Impeccable taste. Oh my goodness. Soul Sanctuary gets me every time.
I know. Oh my goodness. Throwing it back to you. Which song deserved a video treatment if he released one more single from the set?
So there's so many to choose from, and there's so many different vibes that he created on this album. A part of me wants to say Jam of the Year because that song grew on me tremendously, and it's such a vibe. And I've really never heard another song by any other artist that even fits that same genre. It's so unique. However, The Love We Make is something so special, and I really feel that that deserved a bigger moment. It's very sentimental to many of us who love this album. And if it would have gotten the video treatment, I feel as if we could have seen a bit more of that side of him and what he was saying with that. So that's the choice. I would say The Lovely.
Yeah, definitely amazing choice.
I love that song so much. Oh
Me
my
too.
God. I think he's here with us because, like, why are these
No, I
questions?
kind of feel it.
I can feel it too. I'm like, what is going on? Okay, final question, Perla. Right, it's final question. Yeah. Okay. Final question, Perla.
Mhm.
As a result of his independence, Prince embarked on his most audio-visual promotional tour at the time, the embodiment of the spirit of an entrepreneur. What was your favorite promotional moment from this era?
I definitely have to say 1,000% the Muppet Show appearance. I just think it was something like extremely different for Prince. But he still made it look and sound so natural. And I think it was a little bittersweet for him, like afterwards. But I also think it got a lot of people's, I mean, it got my attention. So, and yeah, like especially with him, like at that current time, being known as the artist and not like formally like, known as Prince. I think it was just so significant, not only for like his career, but like for himself personally. So yeah, I'd have to go with the Muppet Show.
Wow, I love that you mentioned the Muppet Show. You know, the Emancipation era was him being free, and part of what we saw was him being more relaxed on TV. But I've
Mhm.
never seen him more relaxed than when he had that piece of straw in his mouth,
No,
and he was silly and fun and relaxed and so easygoing. Like we
no,
saw
I
such
agree.
a different part of him with that Muppet episode. Excellent choice. I love that.
I know it was so cute too. Like I can't stop watching it.
It was so cute. Oh my gosh. And he looked so cute,
Yeah,
right?
he
I liked him
did.
in like farmer regular clothes. I was like,
I know. I
um,
was
right.
like,
Right. That's when we got to see the Rogers Nelson. It's like, oh, Rogers Nelson. Okay,
For real, for real.
right.
Okay, so Chris, your last question. So the Emancipation era brought with it a new style, fresh looks, and a new color palette. What was your favorite styling detail or element from this era?
So I was obsessed with the moon ear wraps that he wore around
Oh,
his ear. I was obsessed and I loved them. And I was very young and they were very expensive for me at the time. It felt like it was $1,000, but I think it was like 50. But at the time, that's what it felt like. But they were so cool, they were so unique. And he kept these for years in his style, but like that with the haircut, I love the highlights too in his haircut, that kind of like yeah, I think I tried to imitate it in school. It didn't really work out so well. But the moon ear wrap with a little star was perfect. And again, I hadn't seen another artist do it. It was so new for me. And it was very specifically him. I loved when he would use something whimsical like that for fashion. People
mhm.
were trying to look hot and look good. He was being the fantasy. He was being magical. And I loved it. Yeah, that
No,
was like,
right, right. Yeah, especially with
mhm.
him being one of the first artists to wear something like that. Like,
Yeah. He makes everything sexy or at least like cool, but like with another person, it would look like, oh, they're trying to be weird. With him, it was like it looked like it was supposed to be on him. Like just it was so perfect. I loved it.
No, no, you're so right.
Right? Okay, so let's do our little fake ad libs of like agreeing with the other two.
Okay.
And I promise I'm not even stoned or anything. I just can't. It's just I don't know why. Thank you all for joining us for this video. Hope that you had fun as much as we did, celebrating 27 years of emancipation, 27 years of love, sex, and liberty. We love this album, and we want to hear from you all. Let's hear your answers. Let's hear your questions, and we look to take it on.